Us, I'm Peter Dubois. First tonight, a Holden man who was found guilty of 3 counts of gross sexual assault was sentenced today in a Penobscot County courtroom. Our Matthew Jurancic has the story.
56-year-old Morris Carr stood inside the Penobscot Judicial Center courtroom awaiting his sentence.
Court finds that there was a certain amount of premeditation here. He had placed himself in a position to be alone with the victims.
The judge sentenced Carr to 25 years in prison, with 18 years to serve and 18 years of probation. This comes after Carr pled guilty to 3 counts of gross sexual assault on 3 victims under the age of 10 between 2015 and 2017 last month. The judge's decision came as no surprise to both the prosecution and the defense.
We're pleased that the justice took this case very seriously, rendered a very thoughtful and well-reasoned opinion, and came out with a sentence that is reflective of the seriousness of the crimes that were perpetrated on these young girls.
The sentence is not terribly surprising. These were very serious crimes, and we're all well versed in the sentencing process, and so I wasn't really surprised by anything that the judge said.
Justice Patrick Larson used a Huey system in determining Carr's sentence, focusing on the facts, using Carr's relations to the victims, the effect of the crime on the individuals, and the plaintiff's previous criminal history. Carr's conditions upon being released include no alcohol or drugs, no contact with the victims and their families, not being allowed to be in places where children congregate, and to register as a sex offender. In Bangor, Matthew Jurancic, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
The Waldo County grand jury indicted a Waldoboro man arrested in connection with a hit-and-run crash. 54-year-old Ronald Grover was indicted on charges of aggravated assault, reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon, and driving to endanger. Belfast police say they received a call on October 30th from someone claiming a woman staying at the Gull Motel on Searsport Avenue had assaulted him. They got a second call indicating the same woman had just been run over, allegedly by Ronald Grover. Witnesses said the woman was struck by a vehicle that pinned her against the wall of the motel and also did damage to that wall. The woman was rushed to Waldo County Hospital for treatment. Grover had already fled when authorities arrived. Police later found him in Stockton Springs. It's unclear when he'll next be in court. The skeletal remains found in Ellsworth last week have been positively identified. Maine State Police spokesperson Shannon Moss says the Office of Chief Medical Examiner identified the remains as Anson Snowdeal of Sullivan. Snowdeal was last seen in Ellsworth on February 9th of 2022 when he left a family member's apartment. The cause and manner of his death is still pending, but autopsy reports and police investigation do not indicate his death was a result of criminal conduct. Well, in other news tonight, if you're thinking about installing a heat pump in your home, you may no longer be eligible for a rebate from Efficiency Maine due to a recent rule change. Our Augusta area reporter Corey Bouchard spoke with Efficiency Maine to learn more about the changes and what you should know.
On September 18th, Efficiency Maine, which among other things handles the state's rebates for heat pumps and electric vehicle infrastructure, changed their rules and requirements for who is eligible for a rebate for installing a heat pump in Maine.
Because there is now a very generous federal tax credit for consumers that want to install one heat pump, a single heat pump or 2 heat pumps, and that incentive is actually more than what we were previously offering. Efficiency Maine has shifted its rebate program to focus on whole home heat pump solutions.
Stoddard says the whole home heat pump system isn't like the traditional heat pumps that you think about that only heat single rooms or portions of your home. The systems eligible for Efficiency Maine's rebates would have to be rated to heat a minimum of 80% of the home's peak heating load. In order to be eligible for the rebate, you will also have to disable your current primary heat source, which has drawn some criticism.
Heating your whole home with heat pumps requires some changes to make sure that it will work well, because our number one concern is that people will be safe and that they will be comfortable and that they will get a good return on their investment. So we want them to save a lot of money. And what we have found is that the way that works best is if you do not attempt to run your old boiler at the same time as you're running your new heat pump system. So we're going to ask people to turn off the old boiler. It's still going to be there. You can still use it in an emergency.
If you have any questions about eligibility requirements, you can go to efficiencymaine.com. Coming up on a future broadcast, we'll hear from Maine's top Senate Democrat about his concerns about the change and Efficiency Maine's response to those concerns. In Augusta, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A new regulation requires some members of the lobster fishing industry to track their every move while out on the water. Our Grace Blanchard spoke to industry leaders and lobstermen about this controversial rule.
Starting in a few weeks, Maine lobstermen who fish in federal waters will be required to activate a tracking device on their boat.
But as I understand it, it's to provide real-time data for where lobstermen are going in federal waters. So it's not inshore waters, it's federal waters.
The tracking devices were sent to nearly 1,100 lobstermen in the state who are licensed to fish in federal waters. The device complies with a new regulation set by the Atlantic State Marine Fisheries Commission.
The data is necessary so that we can tell regulators and developers where and when fishing happens.
But one of the problems the fishermen say is that now with a tracking device, the regulators can watch their every movement, including outside federal waters.
Never had the need for this type of tracking until offshore wind and right whale issues became more prevalent. But it feels like a violation of your privacy in a very, very in-your-face kind of way.
Virginia Olson is a fifth-generation lobsterman and says several members of the industry have been left feeling uneasy since receiving the trackers.
I feel like we're now the criminal entity on the water. To track us, you have to know. There's just doesn't seem to feel right to any of us.
Those who have received the devices are required to activate them by December 15th. In Southwest Harbor, I'm Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Despite needing major repairs and a funding measure shot down by voters, RSU 16 school officials have decided to keep 3 elementary school buildings that serve the towns of Poland, Minot, and Mechanic Falls. Owen Kingsley explains where they plan to go from here.
The Minot Consolidated School suffered damages to its boiler last year. This forced the district to spend $100,000 for a temporary one last winter. Now, consultants for the district say that something similar could happen at the Elm Street School in Mechanic Falls and at the Poland Consolidated School.
All our buildings are in need of upgrading and repair.
RSU 16 Superintendent Todd Sanders says heating their buildings is one of the biggest challenges.
They're always there trying to fix problems.
A task force made of various school officials proposed closing down the Minot Consolidated School and splitting students between the schools in Poland and Mechanic Falls and only paying for repairs at the 2 schools.
The other option was to maintain the 3 schools and fund them, fix them, staff them.
The district's board of directors chose to keep all 3 schools.
So we will now design a plan that will allow us to repair the buildings and in working order, but also to be fiscally responsible to taxpayers because it's not a cheap fix.
The district is not sure how much this may end up costing, but last spring voters rejected a $5 million bond request to repair the heating and ventilation systems at the 3 elementary schools.
Either way, it's going to cost us.
Superintendent Sanders is encouraging residents to reach out to learn more about the need of the schools. He says they will ultimately need taxpayer support.
We would just want the most informed voters that we can have and ones that understand the situation that we're facing.
And that was Owen Kingsley reporting. Public safety officials from 3 New England states are teaming up to help prevent impaired driving over the Thanksgiving weekend. State police from Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts are all taking part in the nationwide Impaired Driving Enforcement Initiative, which kicks off tomorrow. They say law enforcement across New England will be stepping up patrols to look for people driving under the influence. New Hampshire resident Karen Bowen has been impacted by impaired driving firsthand. She says when she was 12, her aunt was killed by a drunk driver in a head-on collision. Bowen says more than 20 years later, her mother was also killed by a man who'd been drinking before getting behind the wheel.
You can no longer think of it as an accident. Knowing that impaired driving, you have a choice to get behind the wheel or not. This is not an accident. When you see that cross alongside the road, those lives matter.
State police say this is a deadly weekend on roads here in Maine. Last year alone, there were 3 fatalities over Thanksgiving weekend, one of which was alcohol related. So a reminder, officials say always have a plan, whether that be choosing a designated driver or calling a rideshare service. Thanksgiving, of course, is a time for gathering with friends and family, but that can be particularly difficult for unhoused and food insecure individuals. The Bread of Life Ministries in Augusta, which runs both a shelter and soup kitchen in the capital city, hosted a Thanksgiving meal for their patrons today.
I think it's important at Thanksgiving. This time of year is really hard for folks. The temperatures are getting colder, and we're a community in here. We serve about 170 people a day, and every day we come in, and it's a fun little community of gathering and eating together. And what better time to do it over a turkey and have a Thanksgiving meal?
The Calumet Club in Augusta will be hosting a free community Thanksgiving meal on Thursday. Donations will be accepted there, and all proceeds will benefit the Bread of Life Ministries. And a chilly night out there tonight, but with a look ahead at what's to come, including some rocky winter weather, let's turn things over to Jeff Weller with a first look at our forecast.
All right, thank you very much. Your first weather is brought to you by Winterport Sheds. Do you need extra storage, a place to live, camp on your lot, a building for your pets? Check them out at Winterport at the Bangor Mall, and of course at winterportsheds.com. Let's talk about the advisories are posted. In blue is a winter weather advisory for snow and sleet and some freezing rain, and of course a gale warning out there as well. We have quite a storm system heading our way and likely arriving before sunrise tomorrow, so scenes like this will likely be around the area, especially north and west of the Bangor area tomorrow, where several inches of snow are on the way. Out there for us now, though, increasing clouds all day long today. Now, the snow is not too far away. It's right over here, and all of this, a ton of moisture moving this way tonight, likely arriving around daybreak tomorrow. So you're traveling tonight. Here is 4 a.m. or so. Snow just beginning, rain in down east areas. Our forecast then tonight, though, is clouding over, rain, sleet, and snow before sunrise. Your full forecast is coming up.
Alrighty, Jeff, thanks so much. And still to come on Fox 22 News at 10, Camp Capella gets ready for its annual auction fundraiser to help support campers. And our Doug Banks highlights a piece of history that carries with it an incredible story. Stay tuned.
This holiday season, share the love in a brand new 2023 Subaru Forester. Buy for 3.9% financing or lease for just $315 per month. It's your Subaru. Find it at Quirk. Cheers to 50 years.
Even though Dorsey Furniture is known for our vast collections of quality home furnishings, sometimes we like to venture into the forgotten passageways and dark corners of our enormous warehouse to mine the odd nightstand, forgotten sofa, orphaned love seat, or the elusive discontinued mattress. Meanwhile, our sales manager, not the bean counters, smashed their original retail prices into tiny fractions of themselves. Dorsey Furniture. Black Friday, black tag sale going on now.
We're lucky to live in Maine. We have a wealth of natural resources, hardworking people, and time for the things that matter. Mechanical Services is all about Maine, with energy efficiency that protects our environment and helps businesses grow. Preventive maintenance and energy solutions that save money. How Maine is that? Mechanical Services. We're everywhere you are in Maine.
My father worked at the mill for over 30 years. He was exposed to a great community and excelled at his job, but he was also exposed to asbestos. The air quality inside the mill was always his biggest complaint. He had no idea how deadly some of the products and materials were. When he was diagnosed with mesothelioma, we knew to call Joe Bornstein's office to get my dad the help he needs and the justice he deserves.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
This day is for the Lions as Jared Goff leads Detroit against the Packers. Touchdown! Coverage begins Thanksgiving Day at 10:30 Eastern on Fox.
Hi there, I'm Emma Smith, and coming up on Good Morning Maine, we'll hear about an organization that's hosting a Thanksgiving for folks who have been living unhoused. Plus, we'll check out a glimpse of the Canadian Pacific holiday train, and we'll have an interview with local representatives who are calling on Jared Golden to advocate for a ceasefire in Palestine. These stories and more coming up on Good Morning Maine.
Welcome back. Camp Capella is getting ready to host its 4th annual holiday online auction to benefit its campers. The event will start December 1st and run through the 10th. Toys, tools, and gift certificates to several local businesses will be up for auction. Camp Capella provides recreational and educational opportunities for people with disabilities. Money from the auction will go towards funding campers' tuition, something Executive Director Melanie Dresser says she's very thankful to be able to help with.
90% of our campers can't afford tuition, so it's imperative that camp raise money every single year to make sure these guys get to come. All of our campers get to come to camp because it's a wonderful, it's their week. It's the week that they look forward to all year long.
Dresser says this year's goal is to raise $10,000. That's enough money to bring 10 people to Camp Capella. You can check our website for a link to access that auction. St. Joseph Healthcare celebrated its Founders Day during an award ceremony earlier this evening. The organization was established back in 1947 with the mission of providing high-quality care to all. Tonight's ceremony recognized all the work that's been done to meet that mission. During the ceremony, 4 staff members were presented awards for excellence, collaboration, compassion, and integrity. There are many things in this world that connect the past to our present. One particular item carries with it the tale of an unforgettable tragedy in Piscataquis County. Our Doug Banks tells us more.
It was 50 years ago when Carlson Williams' father brought to the dining room table a cigar box. And what was inside would spark a lifelong interest of sharing the history of the county he calls home, and a love triangle that ended in murder, but a story that lives on today.
So you'd like to see the murder weapon.
It's a dagger, no more than a couple inches, but its history cuts much deeper.
Father, Benjamin Chadburn, by his first wife he had a son, Wallace. His third wife brings a daughter with her into this marriage. The daughter marries Wallace.
That daughter was Eva, and while her and Wallace had been separated, Eva gave birth to a child. But Wallace suspected her neighbor, Alvin Watson, was the father. Then, in June of 1881, in the town of Parkman, Watson was found dead, with his throat slit and 49 stab wounds.
As the observer indicated, it was a rather gruesome murder.
Benjamin and Wallace accused Brian Chadbourne of murder, the son from Benjamin's second marriage, who was born deaf and abused by his family. This hand-forged knife, found in the possession of Benjamin and Wallace, matched the stab wounds, and attorney Joseph Peaks proved Brian's innocence. With no legal regulations for storing evidence, Peaks stored the knife and photos of Watson and the Chadbournes in a cigar box, later passed down to his son Francis.
The question is, how come I've got it?
When the Peaks home was renovated into the district court, Secretary Madeline Betts found the cigar box and gave it to a local judge, Matt Williams, Carlson's father. The next stop for the cigar box, Carlson hopes, is back to the town of Parkman.
As of right now, they don't have a site for the Historical Society. They just have a few people that are interested.
Today, Carlson and his wife share this story and many others, keeping one piece of Maine's history alive.
I guess I just enjoy sharing history. And if I have information about local events, I like to share that.
In Dover Foxcroft, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Just such an interesting story there. Well, coming up on the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22, we'll have the latest on the Israel-Hamas war, including a new deal tonight to release hostages on both sides, and what the DEA is doing to slow the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. Stay tuned for those stories and more as the 10 p.m. news on Fox 22 continue.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis persists, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When UC got unpredictable, I got rapid symptom relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When UC held me back, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC got the upper hand,
Rinvoq helped visibly repair the colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
At US Cellular, anyone can get any phone free. So give yourself a free phone.
She's here.
Then give yourself the gift of not checking it. The gift of connection at US Cellular. New and current customers get any phone free.
Behind every keepsake, there's a memory. Behind every photo, there's a story. Behind Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration, there's people giving back by bringing back what was thought to be lost. The details, the time, and the expertise, all packaged up behind a name that Mainers have trusted for over 35 years. Statewide commercial and residential services. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories. We'll handle the rest.
Dude, you coming? Because the only thing dripping should be your style. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. With Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Flu Relief. Also try for Fizzy Fast Cough Relief.
This is the big one.
Every Saturday night, the biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops, beginning December 9th.
The Rotary Club of Bangor's Festival of Lights Parade, Saturday, December 2nd.
Developing tonight, diplomats from the U.S. and Qatar have brokered a deal to release hostages in Gaza and Israel. Fox's Jeff Paul has more from Israel.
As the fighting continues in northern Gaza, we're seeing significant movement on the diplomatic front. Israel and Hamas agreeing to a deal on Tuesday that will see dozens of hostages, mostly women and children, freed from captivity in exchange for more than 100 Palestinians being held by Israel and a multi-day ceasefire. The deal was brokered by diplomats from the U.S. and Qatar, with negotiations starting almost immediately after the fighting broke out.
We've been working on this intensively for weeks, as you all know. I've spoken recently about it with both the Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Emir Qatar. My team has been in the region shuttling between capitals.
But it's still not clear if this agreement will succeed. The fighting has been intensifying in recent days as Hamas regroups near the Jabalia refugee camp, a huge complex of concrete buildings just east of the city. Palestinian civilians have serious doubts that any ceasefire will hold.
Now it is Israel's turn to follow the steps, and in the end, we all know that the Jews never abide by any agreement.
And officials here have been saying since the start of the war that any permanent truce will only come after the release of all of the hostages, making it unlikely diplomats will be able to build on this agreement to get a deal for a longer ceasefire.
We are currently focusing on a very strong and proactive defense in the north in order to achieve a crushing victory in the south. The first goal, the elimination of Hamas, does not stop until it is done.
Officials say right now 236 people are being held hostage, roughly 40 of them children. In southern Israel, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Meanwhile, New York officials are heightening security and creating task forces to help diffuse conflicts between Palestinian and Israeli supporters. Fox's Madeline Rivera has that story.
This brawl at Tulane University has become an all too familiar scene throughout the country as Palestinian and Israel supporters clash over the war in the Middle East. With tensions boiling over, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is rolling out more resources to fight online extremism.
We're strengthening physical security of locations. We're also making the digital world safer by identifying credible online threats.
Hochul's plan includes $3 million to make sure every college campus in the state has a threat assessment and management team. She is facing pressure to take more action. This week, a bipartisan group of lawmakers penned a letter pushing the governor to ban Students for Justice in Palestine, a pro-Palestinian student group which they say has spewed hate and endorsed violence.
New Yorkers are afraid. They're afraid for their safety.
CBS News reports it's obtained a new threat assessment which points to, quote, an increasing terror threat to the New York state. Still, officials in the Big Apple say they're not monitoring any credible or specific threats as millions flock to the city for the annual Thanksgiving Day parade.
We're on top of it. No one does it better than NYPD and their partners.
The White House says it's also not tracking any domestic threats, but is staying vigilant.
We're watching this all very, very closely for spillover effects from the fight between Israel and Hamas.
As part of our plan, Governor Hochul is also calling on social media companies to create better anti-hate guardrails for users after a video praising Osama bin Laden went viral on TikTok. In Washington, Matthew Rivera, Fox News.
The DEA just scored a major drug bust, seizing 250,000 fentanyl pills. Battling the fentanyl crisis here in the U.S., however, is just getting started. Fox's Rebecca Castor is in Washington with more.
Investigators say they broke up a major fentanyl ring spanning from California to Washington, D.C.
This was a conspiracy that flooded the District of Columbia with fake pills containing fentanyl.
The bust has taken years. Back in 2021, a young mother took a fake pill from her drug dealer and died from the lethal dose of fentanyl.
The DEA reminds us that one pill can kill, and unfortunately for Ms. Lynch, it did.
Investigators tracked down that dealer and uncovered a vast fentanyl distribution network. They brought 23 defendants into custody so far, along with dozens of firearms and approximately 250,000 pills.
Even our own chemists could not tell which ones are fake and which are real.
Some fentanyl pills can even be disguised as candy. Last year, investigators seized thousands of pills from a suspect going through LAX. And President Biden has made cracking down on fentanyl in the U.S. a key diplomatic goal. Many of the chemicals used to make fentanyl originally coming from China. At the APEC summit, Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to help curb the flow of fentanyl to the U.S.
We also met with President of Mexico. Together, we committed to expanding law enforcement cooperation and intelligence sharing to better disrupt the flow of fentanyl.
But critics say the president needs to do more.
The Biden administration has allowed millions and millions and millions of these pills to come through the southern border, and they are not attacking the source.
The DEA emphasized how social media was used in the busted fentanyl operation, saying almost every defendant in the case used Instagram. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
As the winter season sets in, the CDC is releasing more doses of RSV vaccines for infants to help fight a surge of infection in several states. It comes as the agency urges Americans to vaccinate against the triple threat of flu, COVID, and RSV. Fox's Anna Eliopoulos has that story.
As the nation gets ready to gather around the Thanksgiving table, the CDC is issuing a reminder.
Make sure to get that updated COVID shot, a flu shot, and if you are over 60, that RSV shot.
The nation's top doctors in New York this week, where over the past 3 months, there have been about 1,000 COVID-19 deaths. Flu cases are also picking up, with the CDC reporting a surge in at least 7 states in the Southeast, West Coast, and Central South.
COVID has changed and flu has changed. So you want the most updated protection you can get.
In some states, however, COVID is actually slowing down, and RSV is the chief concern.
The numbers are really starting to increase, at least doubling over the last 4 weeks or so here in the state of Florida.
And while this is the first year an RSV vaccine is available for older adults, it's the nation's tiniest citizens the CDC is most focused on. Last week, the agency announced it will release more than 77,000 additional doses of Beyfortus, designed to protect infants from RSV. The CDC and the FDA working together with manufacturers to ensure availability during the winter season. As for holiday gatherings this year, many people are feeling better than years past.
I'm not nervous. Not nervous, no way.
Nobody's sick in my family, knock on wood, and we enjoy getting together.
If you are concerned, the CDC and doctors recommend washing your hands frequently, and if you are sick, stay home. Anna Eliopoulos, Fox News.
And much more to come on Fox 22 News at 10, including the latest numbers ahead of the holiday travel rush and a weather warning being issued for many Americans. Also in sports, Maine men's hockey is coming off of 2 tough losses to BU, but they're still confident in their guys the rest of the way. We'll hear from the team after the break.
Welcome to MasterChef Junior, home for the holidays.
I thought we were all going to wear costumes for this.
The MasterChef Junior Holiday Special begins December 10th on Fox.
Today's real estate market has changed dramatically.
It's changed in both buying and selling.
There are so many things to keep in mind.
Higher interest rates, property insurance issues, and higher prices.
That's why more than ever, it's important you choose an experienced team.
That's us. We want to help you sell well
And buy well. It's a professional experience from start
to sold.
Did you know that an alpaca item is the most wish-listed gift idea? Stop searching for that perfect gift and start shopping for it at the Blue Alpaca in Belfast. It doesn't matter who's on your gift list, the Blue Alpaca has something for everyone with an incredible selection of alpaca socks, hats, sweaters, even stuffed animals and more. Shop in-store or online and take advantage of their free nationwide shipping. Too much to choose from? Don't worry, the Blue Alpaca also offers gift cards. The Blue Alpaca, feel the difference.
As soon as you come out from your carpentry apprenticeship class, you get straight to work with everybody else. You can go into that carpentry apprenticeship class with no skills. They will teach you, they will make sure that you're comfortable before they ever send you out. An apprenticeship is better because, especially me, I'm a very hands-on learner. I wanted to go from having a job that paid my bills to having a passion and a career that really would take me places.
Football fans, with the Caesars Sportsbook app, you can be in the game all the time. Seeking instant action? Quick Picks offers you the most popular games and markets, already built for you and ready to bet. Experience the thrill when you stack your bets to create a super parlay. Build bets for your favorite teams and players across multiple games. This season, don't just watch the game. Download Caesars Sportsbook and experience the game like never before.
Tired of your internet service constantly letting you down? Those other providers may promise the world with their flashy advertisements, but are you truly having a good customer experience? Fear not, because there's a new player in town. Introducing GoNet Speed. No more endless hold times or automated responses. We're here to listen, support, and provide you with the exceptional service you deserve. Our fast, reliable fiber internet, it's mind-blowing. Let us show you what true internet satisfaction feels like.
Welcome back. Home values in Maine continue to rise, although a lack of inventory has contributed to lower than normal sales activity. According to Maine listings, the sale of single-family homes dipped more than 10% during October compared to the same time last year. However, prices rose more than 13%. The median sales price for a home in Maine is now $376,000. Carmen McPhail, the 2023 president of the Maine Association of Realtors, says, quote, "It continues to be a great time to list and sell real estate in Maine. The amount of for sale inventory remains low while values are holding strong." The holiday travel season is underway with a record number of passengers expected to pass through airport security checkpoints. Federal officials say they've been preparing all year long for the rush. Fox's Casey Stiegel has more.
A storm system sweeping across the U.S. threatened Thanksgiving travel plans for millions of Americans on Tuesday. Hundreds of flights were delayed and dozens canceled by early afternoon, though forecasters say any weather impacts will be temporary and should not affect those last-minute travelers driving or flying this week.
It's just a matter of getting them to where they need to be. So I don't think there'll be a lot of cancellations. There should be some delays.
TSA expects a record 30 million passengers to pass through security checkpoints over a 12-day travel period. That's longer than previous years due to, in part, remote-friendly work schedules. But despite the high numbers, passengers say airports are running smoothly so far.
And I got my bag checked immediately. They were very, very efficient, very quick.
Federal officials say they tried to better prepare for the holiday rush this year by hiring more air traffic controllers and opening new routes on the East Coast. They're also rejecting claims that planes will be less safe due to a large number of air marshals still working at the southern border.
The Federal Air Marshal Service, an incredibly professional element of TSA, they are actively engaged in making sure that we have the right level of transportation security.
TSA expects the Sunday after Thanksgiving to actually be the busiest day with an estimated 3 million travelers. That's the latest from DFW International Airport. Casey Stiegel, Fox News.
Lower costs at the pump, it's something to be thankful for this week. The average price for a gallon of regular gas falling to $3.29, and we could even see the cheapest Thanksgiving Day prices since 2020. According to new Energy Information Administration data, last week's drop in gas demand and oil prices has pushed gas prices into their current sweet spot. Gas consumption is up this week as drivers hit the road for Turkey Day. GasBuddy predicts Americans could end up saving more than $1 billion in holiday travel this year. Thanksgiving foods are arguably some of the best, with turkey, fluffy mashed potatoes, sweet candied yams, and more. But what happens to much of the uneaten food after dinner is causing some stomachs to turn. Fox's Ted Lindner takes a look at how food waste is causing some rotten problems and how you can help solve this holiday season.
As the name implies, Thanksgiving is about being grateful for what we have. With tabletops worth of delicious foods shared with family and friends, a vital way many of us celebrate the holiday. But what if we want to start showing thanks to the planet? Agriculturists say we need to prevent most of the food we buy from going into the garbage.
About 1/3 of all food that's produced is actually never eaten.
Data collected by the University of Minnesota finds Americans trash about 305 million pounds of food from each Thanksgiving. It's a small number when compared to the roughly 119 billion pounds of food wasted every year in the U.S., according to Feeding America.
That 1,250 calories of food per person per day that isn't eaten takes up about 30 million acres of land. That means all the pesticides, all the irrigation water, all the fertilizer that goes on that land is also going to food that is never eaten.
And when roughly 20% of landfill material is wasted food, the Department of Agriculture says the rotting produce releases climate-damaging methane gas. But there's ways you can combat food waste. And it starts by planning how much food you actually need to make at home.
We have the means to alter that food portion size that we eat.
The Environmental Protection Agency recommends freezing, pickling, and dehydrating extra fruits and vegetables, and freezing meats in containers with dates written on them. But if you do have to get rid of moldy or spoiled food, the EPA suggests composting it instead of throwing it away in the trash. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
All right, and when we come back, our full 5-day forecast. Stay with us. Sounds like we have some weather to contend with.
All right, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow arrive before sunrise tomorrow. Is going to get messy north and west of the Bangor area. More on that when I come back.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
I love my Mitsubishi electric heat pumps from Dave's World. This particular system has 6 interior heads supported by 2 outdoor units. With the price of oil, we were trying to shoulder that cost with an electric option. I chose to work with Dave's World based on the reliability of the organization and the professionalism throughout my entire process with them. Dave's World service and customer care has been exceptional, both before installation and post-installation. I would absolutely recommend Mitsubishi electric heat pumps and Dave's World for heating and cooling in your home. Dave's World, awesome.
Silver Fox Automotive is a family-owned and operated company with more than 30 years of experience. We are originally from the county and offer competitive prices and promise you will be completely satisfied with our work. We offer a stress-free experience to both our new and returning customers. We only use parts from reputable brands to ensure your vehicle is safe to drive. Here at Silver Fox, there will always be a friendly face to greet you. Come see us at 2004 Audlin Road in Herman. ABC 7 and Fox 22 proudly broadcast live from the Anna Shriners Festival of Trees on November 16th, a beautiful holiday live event which was brought to you locally by Ideal Recycling in Carmel, a family-owned and operated scrap metal yard. Twin City Tire and Service, a professional auto repair and tire shop in Brewer. And the Eddington Store, your local one-stop shop for everything from gas to snacks.
Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
It's the new celebrity guessing game.
Who is the celebrity behind the relative?
That could win you life-changing money.
You got it right.
We Are Family, January 3rd on Fox.
Here we go. Your full weather is brought to you by Blue Alpaca Ranch and Store. Stop by and see us at our store in downtown Belfast and at the new location, the Bangor Mall. Let's talk about this. And we are talking about advisories and a big travel rush. We have quite a storm system on the way. That's going to bring a combination of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, likely arriving before daybreak tomorrow. So here are the advisories. In here in blue is a winter weather advisory for sleet, freezing rain, and snow north and west of the Bangor area. And of course, a gale warning in here as well. We could see seas out here approaching 18 feet by midday for us tomorrow. Okay, so going forward, rain and snow developing tonight, likely before sunrise tomorrow. That rain and snow could be locally heavy across the entire region tomorrow. Rain down east area, snow north and west of the Bangor area, and then a winter weather advisory kicks in overnight into and throughout the day tomorrow. Increasing clouds all day out there today. Now the snow is not too far behind, so we're cloudy out there now. Here comes the mixed precipitation. There's a lot of it. Look at the energy in here. Look at all the moisture all moving this way. So once it starts around 3, 4, 5 a.m., it'll likely continue off and on throughout the day tomorrow, in fact, into tomorrow night. So here's tonight, and watch what happens here, right? That rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow line right across our region. Rain down east areas, locally heavy tomorrow. Snow just north and west of Bangor area, locally heavy snow tomorrow. And where this stays all snow, there's going to be a lot of snow with that freezing line right across the region with showers and maybe even a thunder shower across the area tomorrow with some locally heavy rainfall. Flooding is a concern down east in areas just east of the Bangor area. It all gets out of here tomorrow night, and then Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, a much calmer weather around here. So if this stays all rainfall, a widespread 1 to 2 inch rainfall is on the way. It's not going to do that, though. It's going to be mostly snow north and west of the Bangor area, including Millinocket, which could see a lot of snow. The latest model guidance suggests something like this. So if you're in here, you could see a heavy wet snow tomorrow that could be 5, 6, 7, 8 inches of snow by about this time tomorrow night. And of course, rain, all rain in coastal areas throughout the day tomorrow. All right, temperatures, of course, are critical. Only 37 today, 35 Millinocket. We'll have low temperatures below freezing tonight and then not recover much tomorrow with highs back up in the upper 30s. Our forecast tonight, though, is increasing clouds out there, light snow late, like well after midnight, probably 3, 4, 5 a.m. with low temperatures down near 27 and a southeast breeze around 5 for tomorrow. All right, so rain and snow. That rain could be heavy at times. Okay, that. And the snow could be heavy at times. We also got that with high temperatures near 40 and a gusty southeast wind in there. It could gust near 20 miles per hour. And then looking ahead, your 5-day forecast shows a big mess in the area tomorrow, of course, Thanksgiving Day. A light rain chance early, the high of 44. Friday, we're quiet as you're shopping, 37. Here's the weekend looking pretty good right now with temperatures in the 30s.
Alrighty, Jeff, thanks so much. And we have sports coming up next. Stay with us.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I started a dog walking business. Oh! No, it's just for money! Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home, so skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Instantly? DraftKings, you spoiling me now.
getting paid in the blink of an eye. NBA legend Allen Iverson hit us with a sports metaphor.
This instant offer is kind of like my crossover. Just place your bet, and it's money.
Oh, he did.
Score 2 great NBA offers. Bet $5 to get $150 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, no sweat same game parlays every day. The crown is yours.
Feeling from a backed up gut? Miralax works naturally with the water in your body to help you go. Free your gut and your mood will follow. For 8 grams of fiber, try new Mira Fiber Gummies.
Hello, fellow flyers. I'm the Savvy Traveler, here to share the secrets of convenience at Bangor International Airport. Parking, you're steps away from the terminal. Inside, even more conveniences. And friendly, efficient security. All of these make BGR the official airport of you. Remember, the Savvy Travel through Bangor International Airport. Flybangor.com.
Tonight's Sports is brought to you by Diversified Ink Tattoo Studio in Bangor, located in the Penobscot Plaza, providing custom ink by licensed artists for more than 20 years.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to start off on the basketball court here. On Wednesday morning, you will officially be able to snag tickets to see Cooper and Ace Flagg play at the Cross Insurance Arena in Portland this January. The boys and their prep team, Montverde Academy, will be coming to Portland on January 5th and 6th. Tickets go on sale for the events of the 5th at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. The event features 2 games at 5:30. The Flagg's old high school team, Nokomis, will play Coney High School as the opener, and the main event, all pun intended, will feature Montverde Academy and Gonzaga Prep at 7:30. Talking to Cooper earlier in the year, and he says he can't wait to come home and put on a show with his team.
I'm very excited, obviously, coming back to the home state. We know what the support's going to look like. We know what the fans are going to look like, how everyone's going to show up and be there. I think it's going to be electric, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to, just having a blast and just seeing all the support back in Maine.
All right, something we are all looking forward to as well. Let's go over to the ice now. Maine men's hockey coming off of their first 2-loss weekend of the year. They're both 1-goal games to the preseason favorite, Boston University. Maine falling 3-2 on Friday and 5-4 Saturday night on the road, despite being the first team to score in both games. And even with the losses, the Black Bears still a top 10 team in the nation, only moving down 1 spot in the most recent poll. Talking to the team this week, they aren't upset at all with how they played. Saturday, they fell behind 5-2, brought it within 1 goal in the 3rd period. So both head coach Ben Barr and captain Lyndon Breen say those games are, quote, tough pills to swallow.
Both really tough games. The Saturday was a really tough pill to swallow because, we played pretty well, and so that was disappointing, but I think the guys realize that when they play the game the right way, they can, they can do some pretty special things.
It's hard to say. It's a tough pill to swallow for sure. Leaving there with no points is, for the way we played and how much work we put in last weekend, it's definitely tough. I thought we deserved more than we got.
Maine will get this weekend off for the holiday, but they are back at it after the quick break, hosting the Wildcats from New Hampshire next Friday at the Alpha, and that should be a live one, and then UConn on Sunday. It's been a tough stretch to start the year for Maine, not record-wise, but they've played 4 ranked teams in a row dating back to the Quinnipiac series, and of those 8 games, the Black Bears have won 4 and tied 1. So I asked Coach Barr, what has this stretch showed you about your guys? Here was his response.
I think it's shown that we're right there with the best in college hockey, and if we continue to trend the right way, really good things are capable of happening.
Really good things have been happening so far for Maine, not so much for these guys. Let's go back to the Patriots now. On Monday, we heard from Bill O'Brien regarding the ongoing question mark at the quarterback position. On Tuesday, Bill Belichick talking about the situation for the first time since early last week. And the press conference was pretty typical for Bill Belichick, especially when the big story of the day is roster and depth chart related. Bill was asked multiple times if there was a decision regarding a starting quarterback yet. He was asked about Will Greer, asked about Malik Cunningham. All of the quarterbacks on the roster really got mentioned in the conference, and the theme of the day from Belichick, well, everybody is going to have to be ready to go.
Bill, has a decision been made on the starting quarterback for this weekend?
Well, I've told all the players the same thing. Be ready to go. So hopefully they will be. I've told everybody to be ready to go. Told every player to be ready to play. I want everybody to be prepared. Yeah, I've told all the players to be ready to go. So, yeah, everybody needs to be ready to go, Tom. So that's where we are for today. Today's Tuesday. Go out there, be prepared, be ready to take advantage of their opportunities, and we'll go to Wednesday.
All right, very Belichickian, if you ask me. Let's go on to the Celtics now. It was a tough loss Monday night in overtime for the C's, dropping the game 121-118 to the Hornets, despite leading by 18 points at one point. And it's a quick turnaround for Boston, too. They are off Tuesday, but are back at it Wednesday for their first highly anticipated matchup with the Milwaukee Bucks. There are the highlights from last night. Milwaukee and Boston, the two favorites, not only to win the East, but to win the title this year when the season started. The Bucks went out, brought in All-Star Dame Lillard this offseason, pairing him with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Boston obviously making some big moves as well. So if the Celtics want to win, they have to play better than they did Monday at Charlotte. Here were Joe Mazzulla's comments on why his team blew that lead and took the loss.
You know, I think regardless, you just have to take something from each game. And so this was our first overtime game. It's our first time where we blew a lead, and we have to go back and understand why we did it. And it comes from taking plays off and not finishing possessions. And credit to Charlotte for continuing to play hard the whole time.
All right, that's going to be a good one against Milwaukee on Wednesday. Hopefully they can rebound for that. That is all the time we have for sports right now. We'll be right back after the break.
Silver Fox Automotive is a family-owned and operated company with more than 30 years of experience. We are originally from the county and offer competitive prices and promise you will be completely satisfied with our work. We offer a stress-free experience to both our new and returning customers. We only use parts from reputable brands to ensure your vehicle is safe to drive. Here at Silver Fox, there will always be a friendly face to greet you. Come see us at 2004 Audlin Road in Herman.
My father started a roofing company in the 1970s.
Back when asbestos was still commonly used in Maine.
When George was diagnosed with mesothelioma, we knew there wasn't a cure yet, but we knew he needed help.
We called Joe Bornstein's office because this family means business.
Their team is handling everything, representing Mainers who were victims of asbestos exposure.
We highly recommend the law offices of Joe Bornstein.
Call Joe today for a free case evaluation. There's never a fee unless you win.
When moderate to severe ulcerative colitis persists, put it in check with Rinvoq, a once-daily pill.
When UC got unpredictable, I got rapid symptom relief with Rinvoq. Check.
When UC held me back, I got lasting steroid-free remission with Rinvoq. Check.
And when UC got the upper hand,
Rinvoq helped visibly repair the colon lining. Check. Rapid symptom relief, lasting steroid-free remission, and a chance to visibly repair the colon lining. Check, check, and check.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including TB, serious infections and blood clots, some fatal, cancers, including lymphoma and skin cancer, death, heart attack, stroke, and tears in the stomach or intestines occurred. People 50 and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risks. Don't take if allergic to Rinvoq, as serious reactions can occur. Tell your doctor if you are or may become pregnant.
Put UC in check and keep it there with Rinvoq.
Ask your gastroenterologist about Rinvoq and learn how AbbVie could help you save.
U.S. Cellular is built for Maine. It's a network for telling inside jokes from across the country. Built for streaming your favorite song one more time, 10 more times. Built for capturing the moments you'll never forget. U.S. Cellular is proud to have been awarded top performing network availability in Maine, with coverage across all counties. U.S. Cellular, a network built for us.
John Hamm stars as Detective Marvin Flute in Grim Bite. Big Bite. Grimsburg. Special preview January 7th on Fox.
Welcome back. Although the weather isn't quite lovely enough for a sleigh ride, a couple of well-known organizations in Holden are looking to fill their own sleigh. G&M Market and the Holden Police Department's 25 Days of Kindness have partnered to fill a sleigh with non-perishable goods that will be later given to those less fortunate in the community. G&M Market co-owner Greg Hawes says that he saw other businesses in the area contributing to the 25 Days of Kindness, and he wanted to join in, but he knew he had to do so in a unique way.
I saw the sleigh in TJ Maxx and I was like, well, that'll work. We can fill that up with food. And so, yeah, it was just off the wall. I texted Eddie, and Eddie said there were certainly some families in the area that were in need. So here we are.
G&M Market will match all of the donations made to the sleigh, including a $500 check donated by Holden Police Department. Holden Police Chief Eddie Benjamin says he's grateful and stunned by the generosity of his community.
We have a big group, a lot of support from our business, from people in town, and surrounding communities as well.
Just a great effort there. Well, finally tonight, for the second year in a row, the Canadian Pacific Holiday Train rolled into Herman. Those in attendance were treated to a mini Christmas concert, but this festive event was also an opportunity to raise awareness about food insecurity. Our Jody Hersey shares more.
When we had this the first time last year, we didn't realize what type of an event this was really going to be, and it was just tremendous with the amount of support that we had.
Traffic came to a standstill on the Colebrook Road in Herman for the second annual Canadian Pacific Holiday Train. Folks from Bucksport, Newport, and even New Brunswick, Canada turned out for the event.
With it being during the day, I thought, well, we'll try a second attempt to actually see it.
And we have some kids that like trains, so we thought we'd all enjoy it.
We wanted to come because we came last year and it was so much fun.
The musicians took no time getting the crowd into the holiday spirit. This event was also an opportunity to raise awareness about food insecurity and collect donations for the Neighbors Helping Neighbors food pantry in Herman.
I wanted to donate to give to the people that needed help.
The Herman Food Pantry also received a $5,000 check from the train company to help stock the shelves with supplies. This was one of just 3 stops the Canadian Pacific train was making here in Maine. The other 2 include Brownville and Jackman. The holiday train's visit also put nearby businesses in the spirit of giving. Shops like ServPro opened its doors to those looking to warm up.
We wanted to hand out some cookies and cocoa to the community for free, just as a thank you to our community.
Many in attendance say they are already looking forward to next year's event. In Herman, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Looks like such a great time there, and yet another reason that it is certainly the holiday season right now. All right, well, that's going to do it for us for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening. We'll be right back here tomorrow night.